Let's get this going.
Let's do it, dude. Hey, congrats on the book, bro.
Thank you, bro. It means a lot, and this episode is sponsored by my book. This Food 7 Lessons for Burros and Back Chasers, guys. You already know you can tap into my link. You'll have access to it directly through Amazon. Also, if you want a personal copy by me, I'll have a shipment coming maybe in a couple weeks. So tune in with that. But guys, I have a special guest with me today. He's my friend Derek. We met at Lego in the Lego program, and that was a long time ago, bro.
It's crazy. It doesn't seem that long ago.
It doesn't. Not at all. But it's interesting because I was in that program before you, but it took me a whole year to find a job. To find a job as a teacher, because you know how it rolls, right?
Yeah.
That was one thing that they're very clear about. They're like, yo, you cannot complete this program unless you're actually working as a teacher.
I know, and it's hard to get hired as a teacher, especially it ebbs and flows.
How old were you when you tried to find a job as a teacher?
Dude, I actually got very lucky. Blessed, things aligned for me, whatever you want to say. So I was in the program, and then I graduated my bachelor's, and then I just started doing my prereqs for the program. I have to take those classes before you have to get the job and take the other
8 classes or some shit like that?
Yeah, it was 8 classes. I want to say it was half a year of classes or something. So I took those classes, and then during that time I was being a long-term sub at the school, Buena Vista. It's a continuation school in Paramount. So I was doing that, and the teacher ended up being out the entire school year. So they just kind of took me on as I was her the whole year, so I was the teacher. So I ended up just having a long-term gig the whole year. So the principal got to get to know me. And then once the school year ended, I was hoping an opening, maybe that teacher wasn't going to return, I could pop in. But that didn't happen. So then I just started applying within that school district. I had interviews at probably 4 different schools. And then I got hired at this one school because the principal from the school where I was subbing at gave me a really good recommendation. And yeah, so I didn't really struggle to find a job. I lucked into that, and then I'm still at that school now.
Damn. So you've been there for about 5 years now, I bet.
Yeah, 5 years. And what was cool is the school district counted that year of subbing as a year of teaching.
Oh, that's
so shout out Paramount, they hooked it up.
Damn. Yeah. So are you gonna? Do you still have loans, or are you done with your loans in general?
No, so I'm working on my loan for my master's program. I got my master's last year, so I got loans for that.
Are you gonna? Does the state offer you some sort of loan forgiveness for those types of loans, or is that?
I think I need to have 1 more year of teaching, and then I can apply for the loan forgiveness. And I think they forgive up to $5,000.
5Gs. Unless you do math or special education, then they do up to 15.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
My first year at my school, I was co-teaching, so it was special education, so SDC,
right,
and gen ed.
But you didn't stay on that.
But I didn't stay. I co-taught for 2 years, and then now I have my own class. I teach Avid and language arts.
Yeah, you would have had to do that for 5 years.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's out the bag.
Yeah, but still, those 5 racks, I'm waiting for that too. Oh, I got next year.
And we could do a joint GoFundMe. Pay off our student debt. I was like, pay your own debt. We all gotta pay ours.
Luckily, bro, I'll be done. I'll be done with my student debt with those 5 racks.
Nice.
Yes.
That's a nice feeling.
Yeah, man. I swear to God, bro, I've been thinking about it for a long time now. And it's just kind of I just want to be liberated.
Yeah, not have that over your shoulders. And
yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's not every day I'm oh fuck, I owe money.
Yeah.
But I don't want to owe shit to nobody.
Yeah.
Even with
you want to be debt free as much as you can.
100%. I think just from listening to Dave Ramsey. Do you know Dave Ramsey shit?
Yeah. His book Financial Freedom.
You read it?
Yeah, dude. My mom and my dad recommended it to me when I was in high school.
Oh shit.
So I got on it, and then he's all against credit cards and stuff, but I was I'm gonna need to build credit. So I ended up so I did the envelope method that he suggests.
What is that?
So the envelope method is basically you write out a budget, and then when you get paid you take it out in cash, and then so you have one envelope, and this envelope's for food going out, this envelope's for your bills, So like so all your money's allotted in these different envelopes, and then when that money's gone, you're like, okay, I have no more going out money, so I'm not gonna spend any more money there.
And that's the idea of like budgeting.
Yeah, so like doing that at a young age like helped me because I was able to really like organize and then build that discipline with my money.
Shit, that's
and then
dope.
And then now like I'm just able to do it in my head. Like, okay, this is how much I'm giving myself for this. First thing you do is like pay yourself. So like save some money, pay your bills.
So today, out of like, let's say you get paid bi-weekly, do you, or monthly?
Monthly, once a month.
So out of that monthly check, how much do you pay yourself?
How much? So like it varies year to year. Like
not the quantity, but percent wise.
Oh, percent wise? Damn, I don't even know the percentage. I usually just like kind of see how much money I'm gonna have and how much I want to allot. Damn.
If you had to roughly say like 5, 10, 15, 20%, whatever.
Yeah, I'll probably say like 5%.
Okay.
And then like I would like the goal is like if you could pay yourself more and still live comfortably, then great. You're saving a little bit more.
So what you're saying is that everything you pay yourself is like goes straight to like a savings account?
Yeah, goes to a savings account.
Okay.
I mean, you could also consider like a 403b, like paying yourself, paying into your future retirement and stuff.
I can see that.
Yeah. But like, when you're like paying yourself, you can actually like take that money or use it for a vacation or save towards a house.
Right.
That's a little different.
That's a little different. But you can have like, how do you say it? How would the expression would be like, you know how you have like different little baskets? And
yeah.
Like, just don't have one basket.
They don't put all your eggs in one basket.
There you go. That's the expression I was looking for. And so like, I've always been a fan of like being very curious about so many different things. And now I've expanded to like my little Robinhood account.
Yeah, right. I don't have a Robinhood account,
but
I don't have any of those. Dude. I need to hop on. All my friends and stuff, I hop on stocks. Right now is a great time, but to be honest, like I'm not a numbers guy, and I'm like,
I get it.
But I do want to do it. Like, imagine you hop on like the next Apple, like
that
early on.
Okay, so the thing about that, what you just said is that of course it's like the lottery, right?
Yeah.
Like I wish.
Super unrealistic.
Like Bitcoin, for example, right?
Bitcoin, that's a big one.
Like if we would have gotten into that when we were in high school, with our little chunk change, right now we'd be fucking balling.
We'd be sitting pretty, yeah.
Fuck yeah! But that's the thing, right? It's like speculation is so hard.
Yeah.
To just say, all right, like this is the next big stock.
You gotta have that intuition, bro. I feel like you just get like.
I'd be really curious to know how people got into Amazon or Apple or Tesla.
Like what made them believe in it?
Exactly.
Yeah, me too.
Because I feel like these same motherfuckers are still finding companies today.
Yeah,
and then they're going fat, bro, like millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
And then they're just like, my intuition, my mathematics, whatever says like in the next 5 years. I mean, if I go in 5 mil, imagine going 5 mil into Bitcoin at the beginning. It would have been insane,
No way.
But again, I don't really let that sort of feeling dominate me because it makes me feel like a loser or something. When instead it's like I'm already winning, like life is great to us. Like you were just talking about how like your job lined up and
what's winning for you? What, like when you say I'm winning, like
yeah.
What is winning for you?
Just following my dreams, bro.
Following your passion in your heart?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's so simple.
It does, but
I mean, for me, it's such a simple method to follow. And it's like, bro, are you happy? Like maybe like a couple months ago, like I tried like a little like life insurance gig. I was not happy, bro. There's money involved, but I was not happy.
Yeah.
Like literally, bro. Like don't get me wrong, like I got clown and have kind of cool time and shit, but I'm a very soulful human being.
Yep.
Like I gotta just be free at all times.
You gotta be true to you. You gotta be true to yourself.
Yes. And even though I do have like an entrepreneurial spirit, it wasn't true to myself in that field of life insurance.
Yeah, and that's also the beauty though, is like in life, like you don't know where it's like right now that you're not sure where that entrepreneurial spirit is gonna take you, although it did just take you into this book.
Right.
But like you don't know where else it's gonna take you, like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and that's like the cool part. You just kind of go in the moment and follow your heart at that time, and you don't know where it's gonna lead you, and you're not doing everything you're doing like I'm doing this so that one day I'm gonna get this, or you're just doing this because like, hey, this is what I want to do. It feels right, and I like it's selfless. What you're doing is like everything you do is like selfless action. You know, you're not like doing it just waiting for the results of it. You're just kind of like Kobe says, like, you know, fall in love with the process. You know, rest in peace, Kobe, dude.
They said that.
I can't believe it, bro.
Damn, bro. I definitely cried, bro.
I cried too. I remember watching on ESPN and crying.
Yeah, I remember my ex-girlfriend at the time, I was taking her to the train station in downtown LA because she was at Santa Barbara. And when I dropped her off, on the way back home, like I had to let it go, man. Like he's such a special person to us.
Yeah.
You know, as LA folks and watching him play since he was like 18, 19, like just such a phenomenal human being on so many
levels of planes, bro. His evolution as a person is amazing.
Yeah.
Like just when I watch like YouTube videos of him talking, he's so well spoken and articulate and thoughtful.
No, right?
I'm just like, and then like, so I feel like at the time, sometimes when I heard those, like, it didn't resonate with me in the same way. But like now that he's gone, like those words hit you even deeper in a way. And not to say that like he wasn't inspiring and all of that before. Of course he was. But now like it's true. Like a lot of times you don't really give people all their roses until they're gone.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. I feel that way about Nipsey as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, because when Nipsey was still around, even though I admired his philosophies and his entrepreneurial ventures and everything, I didn't listen up very, very deeply to a lot of his lyrics, a lot of his music, a lot of his albums, and I didn't really get into his music until after his death, right? So it still kind of speaks to that, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I wish we could love each other more before,
yeah.
You know, before we jam, you know?
And this is like, to kind of tie it into COVID, like, or just 2020, that's kind of like almost what 2020 is like teaching us. Like, we lost some great ones. You know, some people are losing family members to COVID. People are now finally like questioning death. I feel like Americans, like our culture, we kind of don't talk about death. You know, it's kind of, even aging, right? Even getting older, like, it's always like kind of push it away. Like, it's not something that's
taboo, right?
Yeah, exactly. And other cultures like celebrate aging and death,
right?
You know, and we do the complete opposite. Like whether it be procedures to make yourself look younger.
That's just weird as fuck, bro.
It is, man.
I think about that a lot. Hey, do you think The Weeknd did that shit for real? Have you seen The Weeknd?
No, I haven't. What did The Weeknd do?
I wish I had a 2 year and I would like someone like.
Yo, Jamie.
Yeah. But basically, bro, I'm not sure. I have a feeling The Weeknd is fucking around, maybe trying to make a statement. I'm trying to make a statement about procedures like that. But dude, his face is so much different. Like, he looks like Handsome Squidward. Do you remember Handsome Squidward?
Yes.
He looks just like that.
Really?
And it freaks me out a little bit. Don't get me wrong. In general, I don't give a fuck what anyone does with their life. That one just hit a little weird. Cause like The Weeknd is such a successful, such a brilliant, such a great human being.
Yeah, right. The girls already love him, you know.
And I can only feel, I don't know why anyone would change their face because they feel insecure and they want to look better. But bro, that is a sickness, bro.
It is. I think it's like a struggle of finding your identity. Like when people like are doing those things, like they don't like know who they are. They don't know their true selves. Like if you want to go on a soulful approach, like they're not connected with their soul in the same way, so that they feel like they're grabbing at all these other things to try to find themselves or who they are. Like, oh, like maybe I'm gonna feel complete when I do this. But like in our heads, we see The Weeknd. We're like, you're good looking. You have some cool hair. Your songs are cool. You know.
And you got bank.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, I think on a normal basis, we all know that, okay, let's say he's straight. I don't know what his sexuality is, but for the most part, he's dated women, so we can say that. Women are attracted not so much to good looks, but to what you have inside and power. Like if you have power, wealth, resources, and you're like super creative, like bro, like any woman would fall for that like this. So I have, like, again, like, I think you made a really good point, bro, about not being okay in here.
Yeah.
There's something in your soul that's lacking. So it reminds me, bro, it really does make me think, like, as much as I want wealth and shit, like, I don't really think it matters. Like, if you don't have, if as a man, as a woman, as a person, whatever, you're not built with a strong foundation in your heart and your soul and your mind, anything in this world is gonna rob your ass of that peace, of that tranquility, of that self-satisfaction of knowing that you're you.
Yeah, and we even see like social media like snatching people all the time. Just one post.
How so? What do you mean?
So like when for example, I'm just talking about like posts that may trigger people. So like let me think how I want to explain this. So like for example, like if someone has like an insecurity, so let's say like look, my hairline is like, so I used to be super insecure about my hairline, right? I mean, it looks good. I do some like cool camouflage, you know? but then like, so I was like real insecure about my hairline for like out of high school. So like my brothers went bald real early.
Sure.
My pops went bald, and so I was like, I saw my brothers go bald at like 18, 19, and I'm here sitting like 15, 16, like, oh shit.
Like you see it coming.
Like writing's on the wall, bro. Like, if they don't evade it, how are you gonna evade this? So like, I got like obsessive like about my hairline in a way, like real insecure, to the point like where now like when I'm walking just like in a mall or something, I'm noticing, damn, that dude got a nice hairline, bro. Like that's a perfect. His hairline, it's a little mine's a little bit better than that. Like, you know, so now I'm just seeing through this weird lens, you know, just because of my insecurity, and then like it could just translate to Instagram, because like I feel like something I kind of thought about the other day is like filters, right? So you know, Instagram and Snapchat, you have filters, and
they change your eye color, your lips.
Yeah, they alter reality,
skin color
right?
And shit, yeah.
And like, so like, I think also as human beings, we have these filters that we experience life through. So like, my life experiences and your life experiences are different. Our insecurities we grew up with are different. Our families are different, you know, completely different. And, but we may like experience the same event, but we're experiencing it through our own reality. So what you're saying, I may be seeing something completely different. I probably am. You know, like if we went to the same party and we're in the same circle talking with people, your takeaways and perceptions of people and the stuff we're talking about is going to be different than me. And like, if you're so hung up on like these things that don't matter and that are fleeting, you know, then it really kind of rob you of seeing reality and seeing how things really are. If that makes sense.
No, I totally get what you're saying. And I'm trying to connect it back to like the Instagram posts, right? And it makes a lot of sense. It does remind me of like the hairline, you know, example. Because there's someone out there that looks great. Like, for example, a couple of days ago, I was seeing somebody from like my high school days that has like a really badass podcast setup. Like legit shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like badass table and the badass speakers, like a professional fucking place. I think I'm sound enough in here to not have reacted to that in a negative way. I was just like, that's dope.
Yeah, genuine happy.
Yeah, like that's dope. You clearly have the resources for it, and props. But I could see how another individual could easily be like, fuck this guy, or like, damn, my shit sucks.
Yeah.
You know, my podcast is one camera, one microphone, and just us. And the reason why I'm so okay with that is because like this conversation is the only thing that matters. You know?
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people ask me like, oh, which one's your favorite? And all of them are my favorite. It's like when people say like, oh, what student do you like? Oh, I hate all of them, or I like all of them.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just kind of like, social media is definitely, bro, a monster in itself. And I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, like I've been manipulated by it.
Yeah, I think we all have.
And I think, you know, if intelligent, reasonable, you know, solid men like us can be manipulated by this, imagine everyone else who's not as okay as us.
That's 100% true, dude. I had, to be honest, like I've probably been clean off social media. So like I got off Instagram and I cut that pretty easy.
Okay.
And then I was stuck on Twitter though.
Okay.
So Twitter's the one that had me.
Yeah.
And you know, like you can either get stuck in your echo chamber or hearing all the things you want to hear,
100%.
or you get stuck reading these posts that trigger you and kind of like, and then it just kind of like skews your way of reality. Where like, is this really like? So these people that are taking their time to comment and argue, because I won't comment and argue with people. I'll just kind of read through it, you know. But
you're still stuck in that vortex.
Yeah, you get stuck in that vortex, and then you can go out in the world thinking the world is a shitty place and it's filled with these kind of people. But like in reality, it's like such a small percentage. Because then I think about my day-to-day interactions, and probably 90-95% are awesome, like good people. Polite people. I mean, obviously, if you just run into someone in a grocery store, like you're judging them based off like looks. Your high and looks or whatever. But like for the most part, like everyone I run into seems like good people, and at the end of the day, like we're all just kind of chasing happiness. You know, that's what everyone wants. So like my yoga teacher says this, like she's like, one way like to help you be compassionate, just remember, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing: happiness. Just people have different ways of going about it. Some people are completely lost and don't even know that that's what they're searching for, you know. And just like you said in the beginning of the podcast, you're like, I'm happy because I'm following my heart. I'm doing what I want. And some people like aren't connected with their heart or that, you know.
That's true, bro. I didn't know you were doing yoga.
Yeah.
I did yoga once, like a legit session. It was with the old teacher at my old school. Her name's Sasha Crossan, badass person. And to me, you know, she always treated me really well. But I went to one of her sessions, bro, and it was very, very powerful.
Was it like spiritual type of yoga, like grounding into yourself, like, or how would you describe it?
It was very physical. It's very physical.
Hard, difficult, right?
Like, you know, I'm in a pose. Like I'm basically, you know, in a duck walk position, right, for like a minute. So I'm like, obviously I don't know positions, you know, but
yeah,
like, imagine you just squatting. Remember like squatting on the wall, you know,
yeah,
and shit like that. Just doing things like that, or even being like in a push-up position or downward dog, whatever the fuck, you know. That's like that's the only one I know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I feel it.
And so like you're there for a while, and your body starts burning. And then, like, she would do this thing where, like, then you would lay down, and then she'd come to your back, and, like, I don't know, she might have had, like, some sort of, like, incense or liquid in her fingers or something. Where she would, like, touch you, and then, like, she'd, like, very calmly, like, blow on your neck. And then I'd be like, yo, this feels bomb, bro.
Yeah.
And at the end of that session, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety in my life at that time. Like, a lot, bro. I walked out of there pieced out.
Nice.
Like pieced the fuck out, bro. And I was just like, this is some real good shit.
It is.
Like later on in life, bro, like, you know, when I acquire more resources and like I'm not really living like a 9-to-5 kind of life, I definitely want to install that in my day.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, the yoga I do is free.
Oh, what?
So,
is it like online or some shit?
It's in person. So I did it today too.
That's a trick.
So it's in Long Beach. It's called Yogalution.
Wait, is it the one right there by the grass and shit?
Yep.
And that shit's free?
Free. Donate.
Who's the instructor?
The main person who created it, her name's Dharma Shakti. And she wanted to make yoga available to everyone. Yeah, accessible to everyone.
To the common person.
Exactly.
Damn,
so like every day at 11 o'clock, it's free out there. And I'm on winter break today, so I was able to go, you know. And when the sun's out later, they also do a 6 p.m. class, so 11 and 6 for free. And then they also stream on Facebook and stuff that you can follow along there. But yeah, that's what got me into it. Like her yoga. So the reason I like yoga is because like you said, you get in those really difficult, hard positions. And people think that yoga is like all about being flexible or being able to fit your body in these weird positions. But it's really about like being able to be put in those difficult positions where your body's hurting or you feel that tension, and being able to breathe through it and not let your mind, because when we get in those hard positions, your mind's gonna be like, fuck,
quick,
stop,
right?
Or you need to do yoga more, or dang, look at that guy, he's way better. Like, you know, but she really emphasizes on like yoga being an internal journey where this is your time to disconnect from the outer world and really go into your inner world. So like as I'm holding these difficult poses, I'm noticing what kind of thoughts are coming up. And if I'm on like a good day where I'm really connected and like in my breath, then like I'm focusing on if like I'm stretching my hamstring or something and I feel like some parts where it's like tense or something, I try to breathe through it and see if I can relax it a little bit. And you'll notice sometimes you could like breathe into a pose and then it really relaxes it. And then like she says like the real yoga is like life, when people test you and things like that. And then your practice from being able to be in a tough position that might be stressful or it might be difficult for you translates to the regular world, because then when you're in a place and someone says something that sets you off or might, you know, get you angry, you have that awareness where you notice what's going on in your mind, because through your yoga practice you created that space between you and your thoughts. So now instead of just like those thoughts grabbing you and pulling you and you're fully into those emotions and thoughts, you kind of just are able to kind of step back and be like, oh hey, like look how I'm reacting right now. You know, you don't have to engage with those thoughts. And like for me, this past year, 2 years, I've gotten like deep into meditation and yoga, and like for me, it's like really transformed my mind, my patience, all of those things. And it's like something I'm trying to bring to my students. So like last year when we were in person, like I'd start off, I had like mindful Mondays where like we'll spend 5 minutes in the beginning of class just meditating. You know, that's awkward for students at first.
Super weird.
Yeah, like it's something I'd be like, what's this hippie dude doing? You know? So yeah.
Bro, that what you've described about yoga and what you've described about mindfulness and meditating, like that's the type of magic in life that is available. It's like it's medicine, bro. And
it's medicine our world needs badly right now, man.
Yes. And I'm so happy that you're able to be able to ingest this medicine, you know, because as males in our society, we are very egoistic. Don't get me wrong, women are too, but I feel like as males, our society teaches us that that's what our main identity is.
Yeah.
That we must be strong, you know, and if I'm not bullying you, then I'm not a man, right?
Yeah.
And we have a lot of healing to do. You know, we have a lot of healing to do so that when we have our families, you know, we can be gentle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's one thing, bro, that really hurt my previous relationship was that that genuine gentleness was something that I really, really lacked. And so then my mind would try to come in and be like, oh, like she should be grateful.
Yeah.
That I'm, cause I'm definitely a lot better than a lot of males in my society, but it's not good enough. You know what I'm saying? So again, yoga, meditating, all these things are things that I hope to be able to introduce, cause I have my own methods, right? Like I have my own methods to kind of calm my motherfucking shit down. Reading is one of them, you know.
Yep.
Trying to read books that are transformational, trying to read books that feed my soul to make me more calm in those situations that when they arise, instead of popping off, you know, you get that moment of clarity that hits you and you're like, ooh, if I cross this line right now, I'm gonna hurt them and I'm gonna hurt myself. And it's an ongoing process, right?
Absolutely. And like you also learn to not take your thoughts so personally. Like for me, like I really came to the realization that, dude, I don't really have any control of the shit that pops up in my head. You know, like sometimes, like I'm sure we can all relate to this, we have these like terrible thoughts that might pop up in your head.
Push someone down the fucking cliff.
Yeah, you know? But like, so I've learned to not really take them personally, and that, you know, my job is to just notice them without like clinging on to them. Or because like when I was like in high school and younger, you know, I was believing everything that popped up in my head, you know, whether it be you're not good enough, you're this, you're that. It could be boosting yourself up, tearing yourself down, all those things. So it's, yeah, man, mindfulness has been
especially
awesome.
those self-doubt thoughts.
Yeah.
Like the type of thoughts that lower your frequency. That's what's dangerous, right? Because on one side, if you believe all of the self-doubt and all the negativity that your mind pops up about yourself, you're just diminishing your light, right? Like, well, we all have a light, no matter what your past is. But when we listen to that little whatever, everyone has a different name. It could be your angel side, your Satan side, whatever, right? So this negative energy that's talking in you, right?
Yeah.
Some people will call it also the pain body. Some people call it the parasite. Eckhart. Yes. Eckhart is one of those people who have transformed my most recent perceptions of myself.
Was that one of those books that like connected to your soul for you?
100%.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, you never think like a book could talk to your soul. And then you, like, I remember reading The Power of Now for the first time, and then I was just like, it was like, it seemed like all the words were just hitting my heart, you know? Yeah. It was an awesome experience.
And so I didn't read The Power of Now. What I did read though was the A New World, I think it's called.
Yeah, New World. That one's great too.
You read that one too?
I read that one too.
So it really impacted me. It really impacted me in a positive way, because I realized that I have a very strong ego. I don't know where I developed it. I don't know where it came, when it started, but after reading that book, I realized that I could be aware of it. And so now I'm trying to practice being aware. Like, for example, let's say I'm walking down the street and I see someone that I think is a fucking dumbass, right? My brain's automatically saying, look at that fucking moron. And then I'm like, yo, that's your ego.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So in that moment, instead of allowing the toxicity to kind of dominate me and maybe even make something stupid, like create a remark onto them where they might even hear me and be upset or emotionally hurt or want to fight me, right? Now, my ego's still there and present. It's controlling me. And his ego is controlling him. Now we're gonna fight together.
Yeah.
And who knows? I might fucking die. He might have a gun. He might have a shank. You never know, right? So Eckhart says, be aware. Like, that's the only cure to de-escalating that whole imaginary situation that just took place in my brain.
Isn't that crazy? And like, he talks about how like that imaginary situation is actually like taking you away from like reality, which is right now, because we're always clinging on to something that happened 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, like, oh, he gave me a dirty look, you know, and you're thinking like, then you play the scenario like, oh, can I take him? Like, you know, you go through your whole head. And then, or you could be like stuck in the future, like clinging on to something in the future. It's amazing,
like goals and shit, right?
Like goals, or like it could be anxiety of some event that's to happen. Right now, people might be having anxiety like, oh, are we gonna have civil war? This and that. Like we don't know. Like, all we know is what's going on this very moment. But our minds are so good at running forward, running backwards, and taking us away from now.
Isn't that so unfortunate, bro? Why do you think it is that it's so easy for us to go back, forward, but not be present?
It's the monkey mind, man. The incessant mind. Just always like think about how often like we have to narrate everything. Like even if we're sitting out staring at a tree, we're like, oh, that's a nice tree. Look at those squirrels up there. Like, we're not just like taking it in. We have to narrate everything. And
I get that, but I get pleasure out of that.
Yeah, I do too, in a different way. Like, for me, like,
so how do you do it?
Like, I don't need to like label everything to enjoy it. Like, I know this is I don't know what plant this is, but let's just say like I know this is a tree. Like, in my head, I don't need to say like this is a tree. Like, I know it. Like, I know what I'm appreciating without like having to label it. And then just because I think when I start labeling and having that dialogue in my head, it's easier for that dialogue to move on to something else, and then I get lost in that dialogue. So yeah, for me, like, I'm not saying like it's bad. Like, don't like say, oh, that's a tree. Like that's pretty harmless, right?
Right. No, it's because I think what you're trying to frame is that when you narrate everything, your thoughts can lead you anywhere.
Yeah.
When you can just enjoy the stream, right? which is the whole idea of being still.
Yeah.
That's something that as Americans in our culture, nobody knows how to be still, right? Especially like those of us who are a little bit more inclined to work hard, because that's what we see and that's what we want, and we want something to come out of that. But I think I remember reading a book called like The Urban Monk, right? And in this book there's this idea that because we do live in a capitalistic society, and maybe one day we'll have families, we gotta pay bills and all this shit, like there's a place where we can kind of merge both worlds together.
Yeah.
And be aware of society's ill wills, but we have to create like that space, like one of the lessons in my book is about finding your island, which by the way I borrowed directly from the RZA from his book The Tao of Wu. And in that book, I mean, we're from LA, bro, so we understand somewhat that New York City lifestyle. Everyone's always
the hustle and bustle.
Yes, trying to one up you. There's so much fucking noise. Like the fucking helicopters are passing every fucking day. The sirens of the cops, of the ambulance, constantly. There's sounds bubbling everywhere. But somehow you have to find a space, whether it's your shower, whether it's the throne, taking a shit. I don't care what it is. But we have to find a place where we can sit for a moment still and kind of detach ourselves from all of that energy, bro. All of that energy, because it's a lot, bro.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but for us, it's the norm. That's why I think we're so fucking crazy as a society.
I think that's a huge part in it. And also, like, now that I think about it and that you mentioned that, it kind of just reminded me that, like, we're constantly trying to control or shape the current moment to fit our needs, right? So, like, if we're outside and a little sun's in our eyes, now that's kind of ruined our moment. We need to move, like, and, like, if you can, like, awesome, of course, you're going to move to the shade. But I just feel like since, like, we're always trying to control and manipulate the current moment to fit our needs to make us okay, versus like we have trouble like surrendering and letting go into the moment. Like if something's uncomfortable, we have trouble surrendering to that. If someone, that's why like there's some people, like if someone shows up late, that might ruin their whole time with that person, because the whole time like they're stuck on that, like on their expectations of what it should be. And like sometimes our expectations of what it should be, well, really, like if we had no expectations, it would probably be a lot better, because we can really just like surrender into everything. Like even as a teacher, you go into a class, you have a lesson, and you have these expectations of, oh, this lesson's gonna be great, it's gonna go like this. And then you go to your morning meeting, oh, we have a fire drill today or earthquake drill today, and then like that's just how life works. Like we have very little control when it really comes down to it. Like COVID's taught us that, how much little control we really have. And I think we have trouble surrendering control and to the moment a lot of the time. Damn,
bro, just letting go.
Yeah.
That is such a difficult thing for us regular folks. All the super enlightened motherfuckers out there, like, man, poof, right? But
yeah, that's
like,
real.
I love that idea, bro.
And it takes work. It takes practice.
It does.
That's why I like meditation and yoga. It helps me.
It builds that muscle, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of give an example, I'm sure it's not a muscle, but it's a spiritual practice.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual practice to be able to detach ourselves from the high frequency of all these fucking freeways, right? Like, basically, I feel like, you know how a busy freeway looks like? That's exactly what our souls are like inside, with like all this turmoil, right? Like just every second, everything is just like boom, 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 boom. When like early on as human beings, like you'd work for a couple hours during the day because you'd go hunt or you'd go picking some berries or whatever, and then the rest of the day you were chilling with like the tribe.
Yeah, it's a lot, like you said, it's a lot more stillness, and like when your body's still, it's way easier to like still your mind. And like you said, we're driving everywhere in traffic, whatever it may be. That's true. I didn't even think about it that way. The city does contribute to that a whole lot.
A lot, bro. A lot. So it's difficult, man. It's difficult, but I think these conversations are important because there's someone listening and saying like, fuck, dude, like, I'm tired of this shit. You know,
Exactly.
I'm tired of, like, just dealing with so much that I don't understand. And really, like, the best thing I can say is, like, go for a hike or something. That's why I brought, like, okay, so hikes are kind of far from me from here, but I go as much as I can. But I try to hit the beach more often.
Yeah.
Because even those waves, right, sitting in the sand, like, for me, it's a great moment to that breath, right?
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how powerful the breath is? Just breathing.
Well, that's what we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, our essence is right there. Because when we die, there's no more of that.
And what's crazy about that, what you're just saying, like, you said, like, our breath is us. What's crazy is, like, we're constantly inhaling and exhaling, like, taking in from, I guess we'd say, the outer world, or you can look at it like we're all the same or made up of the same thing, you know? But it's, like, I saw something the other day. It said, like after, like, 10 years or something like that, like, none of your molecules or something like, I'm no scientist. But basically, I probably should have even brought this up. But basically, like, we're constantly inhaling new, right? New air, new oxygen, exhaling old. So at some point, like, none of it's the same that it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're referring to, like, the regeneration of cells and shit like that.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's true. I mean, also, you know, I don't know fucking shit about this, but I've also read about that like, every 7 to 10 years, like, you will not be the same physical,
yeah.
creature.
But you're still, yeah, and you're getting...
But you have your memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have your identities. You have all these different things that tell you and say, this is who you think you are, which is, again, going back to the same idea. It's like, if you cling too much onto your identity as me back in the days, football player, right? I cannot always be a football player.
Yeah, all that's constantly changing.
Yeah.
So, like, your identity is constantly going to be fleeting you, so unless you can find your identity in something that...
But that's the thing, right? It's like, I'd rather not have an identity.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, just be.
I think I can function like that. Like, I can function like that. The problem is that society doesn't understand me being that way. They need me to identify myself, right? It's like when the cops stop you, you have to have an ID.
Yeah.
I can't just, you know, the cops can I see your license and registration? Sir, I just am.
Yeah, you still have to, like, I think there's a balance, like you still, like, play roles in everything you're doing. Like, you're like, at school you're the teacher, right. At home with your parents you're the son, wherever you are. But, like, you don't, like, hang on to those as, like, that's who I am. Like, you know, there's some people, like, I'm sure you met teachers like this. Like, when you're at school, you're a teacher, but, like, you don't go around like, I'm a teacher, that's who I am. That's a part of you, that's a part of your joy, part of what you do, but that's not who you are. So, like, you're kind of just going through all these and putting on these different hats, you know? Right. But some people, like, hang on to that hat tight.
My solution to all of that is don't take it too seriously.
Big time.
And it works wonderfully. It truly, truly works wonderfully. And at the same time, that's why, like, I have to be able to attract people with that sort of energy, because when I don't take a certain moment in life seriously that they might be taking seriously, they'll understand where I'm coming from, you know. And that's what it's all about, bro. It's just like understanding one another. I think that's one thing that is so difficult about society today, is that nobody really has the inclination to want to understand anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, I just want to be right, and whatever you have to say doesn't matter to me because I know that I'm right.
That's frustrating, right?
It's very frustrating, but it's just one of those things that just will exist.
Yeah, it's part of, like, just human nature.
I think so.
I think we're trending in it, even though, like, it doesn't seem like it. I want to say we're trending in a stronger direction, because I feel like more conversations like this are happening, and just amongst, like, my friends group, like, maybe just because we're like-minded and stuff, but we think that way, like, no, like, let's just have conversations. So before, like, I hop on anything, like, for example, like, you know, yesterday craziness ensued at the Capitol and stuff. I'm not going around, like, throwing these opinions or anything, because one, like, I didn't listen to his speech. I haven't taken the time to read his speech. You know, I've been unplugged from social media, from the news. So, like, I could, like, go ahead and look at some posts and get outraged, but I might just be duped or fooled on either side of the spectrum, you know? So, I don't know, I just feel like I just gotta unplug and just like take a step back, and if I am gonna share a belief or something, I want to make sure that it's really true for me and not just some emotional reaction. Like, I want to respond, I don't want to react.
Oh yeah, I feel that, bro. There's definitely a strong reaction to what happened yesterday,
and rightfully so. Like,
of course,
you know?
mean, so this is what I noticed actually from like just what I was able to take from social media was that people aren't angry because they stormed the Capitol. They're angry because when other people are protesting or whatever, they're treated differently.
Yeah.
And I'm like, of course. I mean, to me, I haven't really spoken on that because it's been something I've been talking about for years, bro.
Yeah.
It's been something that I've been very, very like passionate about.
Yeah, I remember you were seeing a shirt. I mean, this kind of goes on the same. When I first met you, like one of the first times, or one of our first classes, you had a shirt that said like "Schools, not prisons," but that still is like part of that same cloth, you know?
Absolutely. Like that whole ideology stems from like lefty way of thinking, right? And so like I'm very well trained out of that school. So it's like I can think critically and thoroughly about all of these different ideas, and it's like, of course, like, come on, guys, like let us not pretend like our country isn't rooted in these sorts of like very sinister ways of thinking, right? And it just is what it is. But I'm at a point in my life right now where it's like I've given these ideas a lot of my heart and soul, and it gave me nothing in return.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It gave me nothing. It gave me nothing but pain, trauma.
Makes you feel helpless.
Yeah, misery. And so, you know, I found the middle ground today where it's like, oh, I get it. Well, that whole phase of my life was to educate me. You gotta know where you're from to know where you're going, right? Like that. Like that's the history. Like I'm very open to teaching about oppression, but what I'm not open to doing is telling my children that they're victims.
Yeah.
And you know, with no disrespect to nobody, but I feel like a lot of people in that school of thought have taken on that role of pushing on like this victimization, and I want to differentiate as best as I can right now. You know, education is empowering and transformational, but victimization cripples you.
Yeah.
Like I would never tell you like, yo man, like this is what you're gonna amount to because this is your history.
You're not gonna put a cap on what.
No,
what
I'm gonna say
or be.
I'm gonna say this is your history, but you are gonna be the person who's gonna heal it, right?
Yeah.
But you can't. We can't heal none of that shit if we keep functioning the same, operating the same ways, right? Like if we operate based upon. That's why I'm saying it connects, right? That's why everything I say connects. Like if we operate in the patriarchal ways of the Romans and the ways that they treated their women like fucking property, we're never gonna advance as a human civilization, right? But that's why we must retract again. Like that's why like this whole idea of like the ego and all that. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what all of those things are. So instead of saying like, oh, I'm gonna preach feminism, which I can't anyways because I'm a man and I've done so many things that are bad and terrible. Instead, I'll just say like, okay, I'm not gonna preach patriarchy. I'm not gonna preach feminism. I'm gonna preach love.
That's beautiful. That's what it comes down to. It's crazy, and why is that so hard to see? Like, why do you think that's so hard? Like, why?
Well, it's hard. It's gonna be harder and harder, bro. Like this is the beginning of it.
I know people are like it's the end, but nah, this might be the beginning. That's the crazy part.
It is. It really is. And I, you know, kind of tackling that question, bro. It's ideology is a powerful juice, bro. You know how they say cocaine's a powerful drug?
Yeah.
That's what ideology is, bro. And you know, Jordan Peterson talks about it. Jordan Peterson talks about being ideologically possessed.
What's crazy about Jordan Peterson too is like you talked about all that stuff draining your energy. It seemed like that was happening to him, and because he kind of had a hiatus where he kind of disappeared. He said he was dealing with like severe anxiety, because like you put a lot of soul. Look how much soul and stuff and energy he's invested into it. And then I'm sorry to go on a side note.
Okay.
I'm just like curious, like, dang, like what brought him back? Because like it seems like it took him to a real dark place, like getting so ingrained in all of that. And like me and you would probably agree, like he has really good intentions and he just wants people to see like as clearly as they can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it like brought him this crippling anxiety where he had to get on these medications and do all these things.
It's a trip, right? Especially looking at a man like him.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it would happen to him.
No, because you're like, this guy. But I can also see how he could not be happy, bro. Like if you're constantly debating like some of the biggest intellectuals in the world, like that means that you always have to bring your A game.
Yeah.
Like
So
that's taxing, dog. I don't bring my A game necessarily to this. Like we're just chilling.
Talking, yeah.
We're just chilling. And that's why I love Joe Rogan so much, bro.
Me too.
Because the motherfucker just be chilling.
And people try to put that stuff on him, like, you need to do more of this or that. And he's like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then it's like, cool, keep doing that.
And, I almost do feel like, last time I was having a funny dumbass thought where I was like, this motherfucker has to be some type of alien or something. Where now I'm just getting into bullshit theories or whatever, just so everybody knows this.
Yeah.
Like, some people might say that like Jesus or like Buddha or like Muhammad and all these people that changed the world through their ethics and moralities, some people could say that they might have been implanted by some. You could say God for sure, right? Like that's what most people would say. But it could have been an alien race somehow that came and like dropped an idea or literally maybe had sex with a human being or something.
Or that whole theory of like where your ideas come from, or they just like shooting ideas at you.
Right.
It's nuts. Dude, I'm full on board with aliens.
Well, bro, I mean, isn't there like a lot of bullshit coming out recently that is talking about aliens and shit?
Yeah, dude, I just watched this documentary. Joe Rogan actually had some guy on talking about UFOs, and he made this documentary. Dang, I wish I remembered this documentary, but like it pretty much like compiles all this like evidence, and like so they like kind of sifted through all the stuff to the strongest evidence that they have today, and then from like the 60s like all the way to now. And then watching that documentary, I was like, whoa, like it's like something I think like more people should talk about, but
right.
Or should be considered. So I mean, I don't know what we do with that information. It's just kind of fun to get into and wonder like how cool would it be to meet another being from a different planet.
Absolutely. I think like for me, best possible scenario, because I like to be optimistic, is that they'll re-enlighten us again.
Yeah.
Re-enlighten us, maybe teach us better economics, where there's less poverty, there's like not necessarily like a utopian society, because I feel like that's just as fake as pretty much any fairy tale.
Kind of weaken the desire systems.
Yes. Like you can say that one of the reasons why capitalism is so bad is because of the greed.
Yeah.
That greed aspect of human beings, right? It's like, damn, bro, do you really need $81 billion or $160 billion? Like,
yeah.
I'm not hating on nobody, right? Like Jeff Bezos, for example, or whatever. He designed something special. He designed a very special model and
changed the way our world operates.
100%. Do I agree with like what happens in the workplaces? Of course not. But it's kind of like saying like this is what we have right now, right? This is what we have right now, and that's why we're educators, right? Because we would like to inspire that Amazon worker to be like, look, G, I know you feel like you have to come here every day to work because maybe you have 4 daughters and a wife and you're living the rat race paycheck to paycheck, but I want you to know that you don't have to. You don't have to. Like, there's a possibility that you can do something different with your life.
Yeah.
And I just say possibility, right? To open the chance. And trust me, bro. Like I know I've lived enough through struggling moments to not necessarily say, "Oh, pick yourself up by the bootstrap," but to say, I just want to say it's possible, bro.
Give yourself that opportunity at least.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, 100%. And not like, I was talking to my friend the other day about this. Like, not a lot of people like chase their passions. They kind of go for the security, the safety, or routine. Like, because we hate change. Like, you just starting this podcast, or you and your homie creating the book, right? Like, you had to put yourself out there, probably do some uncomfortable things that bet on yourself, and not everyone's willing to bet on themselves or get through the ugliness that it takes to get there. Like, I'm sure, like, your first few podcast episodes, I'm sure you were a little nervous, might have had some moments where you kind of look back and like, oh, like, I shouldn't have said that, or I kind of froze up, or didn't acknowledge his point, or whatever it is, you know? But that's something I try to instill in my kids too, is like we have Google, we have YouTube University, we have books. Like, there's like zero reason not to chase your passions, and your passions don't even always have to give you money. Like, you might work that job at Amazon and hate it or not love it, but when you get home, you go and do something you're really passionate about. Maybe one day it turns into money or a revenue stream for you, or maybe it's just something that you enjoy doing, and just the fact that you enjoy doing it's worth doing, you know?
And that is the balance that's gonna give you that tranquility in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe your job is not something that you're proud of or that you like or that's making you the amount of money that you would wish to do, but maybe it's giving you the enough to do what you want to do when you get home. Now, I understand when people say, well, fuck, dude, I'm too tired to do shit. You're gonna have, that's your obstacle.
Yeah.
That's your mountain, Mount Olympus, that you must conquer, right? There are gods there who may not be favoring you, but show them why they should favor you, right? Yeah. By climbing it and falling and going again and falling, like Sisyphus. I think his name is Sisyphus. Are you familiar with that story?
I'm not.
So it's a very, very interesting story right here. One of my favorite writers, Albert Camus, actually writes about this. And Sisyphus is this Greek person, right? And so the background story, I'm not too familiar with it, right? But I'm just gonna go ahead and make it my own to make it make sense.
Yeah.
So this individual is caught basically being like a piece of shit in the town. So the gods, in order to teach him a lesson, they set him to climb a mountain with a big stone for eternity. And so what happens is that he's constantly taking this big ass rock uphill, and there's moments where he stops. He stops and he looks around and he's like, "Fuck, like I gotta keep going."
Yeah.
There's times when the rock rolls down, he goes back and he keeps doing it, right? He keeps doing it, but he's destined to eternity to do that. So Albert says at the very end, he says, one must imagine that when he pauses, that he's happy. Because that's that moment where, like, that's a very universal human thing. Like struggle. Like struggle is a human thing.
Yep. From
here until we die. So we must imagine ourselves that in those moments of pause to be happy. And again, it kind of connects to our earlier thoughts, right? About being still and just pausing. And we know that the world is trash, a lot of it. But we have to imagine ourselves happy in the moment where we're like, you know what? I know tomorrow's gonna suck ass, but right now, I'm kind of good right now.
Yeah, just taking in the moment.
Yeah. Look into that.
Right.
Look into it so you can look at it more extensively. Like, it's been years since I last like read it. So it's the idea is there.
Yeah.
But aside from that, like Albert Camus has like a lot of other great essays. And he was obviously a brilliant writer, genius writer. I probably would rather say. Highly philosophical. You know, another one of my favorite books is The Stranger. I definitely read that book. That book is really like one of the cornerstones of existentialist thought through a novel format. So, you know, a lot of philosophy and existentialism or otherwise whatever other field of philosophy is really hard to read. You know, it's really, really hard. Like, if you read their shit, it's like, bro, I don't know what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
But at least now, like, the more creative ones, they're all really creative, but the extra artists...
Reach a wider audience.
They wrote novels to explain these stories, right? And in these stories, you capture perfectly what existential angst looks like. Although anyone can tell you what it feels like when they're experiencing that.
Yeah.
Right? But like that book had a lot of really, 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 really good like little moments. And so like just to throw out one of them was like he's in jail. Well, actually, I don't want to ruin it to you. I don't want to ruin it because there's a chance that you might one day read this.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on my list, man.
Yeah, and I'll let you experience that for yourself. I don't want to ruin it. But anyways, man, like I was thinking about something earlier, and I was like, you're married, right?
Yeah.
Like is your wife also like? Does she also operate similarly to you? Like, does she also have the same knowledge when it comes down to like dealing with like problems and shit like that?
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. So like, my wife and I, we come from like completely different backgrounds.
Okay.
You know, she lived part of her life in Mexico.
Oh shit.
You know, I had experienced like childhood traumas. You know, I didn't really experience childhood trauma. I was very fortunate in that way. And so like right now, like she's in this master's program, or she's actually finished her master's program. She's gonna be a school counselor, but through that program, she really realized all the damage and lasting effects of trauma and all of those things on her and stuff that she's kind of just shoving down. And now she's dealing and healing with. But fortunately, we're both into meditation. She's actually the one to introduce me to the yoga spot. So yeah, we both use those same methods, but for me, like it's a lot easier for me to like just be and not like let my mind run wild and like I don't deal with much anxiety versus her. Like certain things will trigger her that she has no control of, and then all of a sudden like she's like struggling with this anxiety. So yeah, to answer your question, we do like share the same like beliefs or functions of how to deal with these things. But we're both at like different stages in terms of dealing with it. Like I've been blessed to be married to her because like, you know, I had never really seen anxiety up so close or what it could be. So like it gave me a whole entire different perspective of anxiety, like how crippling it can be. And I guess just to be more compassionate for that. Because like if someone doesn't know what anxiety is, like, oh, you're feeling nervous, whatever, you know, like they have no clue like the effects, like the physical effects it can have on your body. So like, let's say like you're dealing with anxiety and you're physically like your body can be hurting because like you go in that fight or flight response where now you're like clenching your muscles all tight. And let's say you're doing that all day. And then, so now your body's sore and then your mind's running. So now you can't sleep. So then the next day you had no sleep, your body hurts. You just want to lay in bed, and if you have no sleep and your body hurts, now you're more likely to be sad, right? You didn't get outside, get any sunlight, get any exercise, so it's real easy for anxiety to like take you down this real dark place. And I never saw that before, and to see like the courage it actually takes to face your anxiety, like to face your trauma, right? To try to figure out what's causing this. And like have to like really feel that pain. Like I'm you know, I'm proud of her. Like it sounds like it might sound cheesy, but I'm like really proud of her and like just the courage it takes to like face your anxiety. So like seeing her up close and knowing her story and those things has helped my growth as just a human being, I feel like.
Man, and I'm grateful for you sharing that, man, because sometimes we're not very compassionate. You know, especially like neurotypical people. You're fine, you know, you don't really have mental illnesses of any type. You're like, oh yeah, just like, especially like, I've noticed a lot, and definitely like Latino cultures and black cultures or whatever, where they don't really take that shit seriously. You know, it's like, oh well, you know, you're anxious because you don't really actually have real problems, right? Because if you have real problems like me, like, you know, doing all this shit, then you wouldn't have time to think about these things. But again, you know, we have to be empathetic and compassionate, bro. And somebody that taught me a lot about that was Dr. Green, bro.
Hey, he's the GOAT, man.
Yeah,
I can't say enough good things about Dr. Green.
He's a real good man. And
can I pause you real quick on Dr. Green? Like,
yeah, of course.
What's so awesome about him, like compassion, like when you cultivate, you know, compassion is something that he's like worked really hard to cultivate. And like one thing with his compassion is like it radiates out of him. Like you just feel this different energy when he's around you, and it just makes you want to be compassionate. It makes you want to be better. And you know, he kind of set me on a mindfulness path in a way, because he recommended Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, and a book by Daniel Goleman's wife, I think her name's Terry Branch, I could be wrong, called Emotional Alchemy. And I read both of those, and like I'm someone who's like I've gained emotional intelligence because my mom is a very emotionally intelligent individual, my dad. But then reading those books, just kind of like, dang, emotional intelligence is everything. Like it's so important. Like this should be one of the emphasis in schools today, is emotional intelligence, especially with like the rise of technology and like some knowledge being like less relevant or needed because you can do a Google search now and just get it like that. But back to Dr. Green, he's just like an outstanding example of what compassion, and for him he would say God, right? Because he's Christian. He's Christian, and you know, he's connected with his soul, you know, and it just comes out in him. And yeah, so he's awesome, man.
Shout out Dr. Green.
Yeah.
I hope I'll send him this episode just so that, you know, I'm sure he'll watch it.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of his old students. Man, I love this class, man. There's this a funny story. First day of his class.
Called you Jesus.
First day of his class, bro. More towards the end, he asked me. I'm not sure if you remember this, but he's like Jesus, like, do you love me? He literally asked me that question, and I didn't want to be like rude, but I was already displaying like rude energy where I was like, bro, of course not. But I remember saying just like, I do not, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, well, I hope that you can get to love me one day, you know? And I thought it was like weird as fuck. You know, there's no other professor. The other one that was really cool, that was also a guy, was Alvarez, right?
Alvarez was dope.
But Alvarez was different. He was more here, right? He was more cerebral. Yeah. I'm not saying that Dr. Green isn't bright by any measure, but he operated from his heart, right? Like, yeah. Like he wanted to reach and love so profoundly that it impacted you, right? Like, yeah. Impact is really what we seek as teachers. It's not the curriculum. Like the curriculum, I send it to hell every day. You know, I don't give a fuck about it. Yeah. But what matters is like how we make people feel, like if we have an impact on their lives, like the mutual respect that you can get from each other, especially dealing with the child that's dealing with a lot of trauma, yeah, and a lot of pain, right? And those are the real moments. Those are the real obstacles that we need to tackle, because those are the basic needs, right? If you don't even have that, how are you moving forward? But Dr. Green was such an enlightening soul, because in that moment, I remember feeling negativity towards him, because I was like, bro, like, come on, man, like, if
you already don't want to be there, it's right after work.
Yes, yeah. But see, that shows already my transformation. It's probably like 2 years ago, or closer to 3.
Yeah, I'm not, maybe 2 or 3.
Let's say 2 years.
Yeah,
2.5. I don't know. It's been not that long ago.
Yeah.
But I've already grown so much as a human being, you know, to go from a place of being like, man, fuck you, don't be telling me about loving you, like, who the fuck is this random ass white man or whatever, right?
Yeah.
To leaving that space and being like, you know what, bro, I do love you, you know? And
to being in a place where now you're talking about him on your podcast.
Man, I got nothing but respect and love for that guy, man. He has demonstrated like genuine interest and love in my life.
And selflessness.
Yes.
So selfless.
Yes. You know, to the point where I even asked him, because you know I had him on the podcast.
And I saw his feedback on your book.
Yes, lit, right?
Yeah.
And I'll actually, after the podcast, I'll show you his full.
Oh, okay,
because you gotta do a little small snippets, right? I asked him, I was like, look, Dr. Green, like, if I ever get married, can I get married in your backyard? Cause it's dope, fool. It's dope.
And I saw the podcast with him.
Exactly.
Hey, if you haven't watched that podcast, go back, watch that podcast. Dr. Green.
Check out the one with Dr. Green. It's fucking great. But I asked him that, you know, he's like, of course, you know, and like I don't have any fucking like actual plans right now getting married, but maybe, you know, if that opportunity, like I'm leaving that up to God for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like if that moment comes to be, I know for sure I want to have kids and shit like that, you know, so it's like, you know, there is a clock in the sense, you know, like I don't want to be too old. I think I still have a little bit more time to do some things that I need to do for myself. But definitely, you know, not too soon, but not too late is where I kind of, it's something that started to take root in my mind as far as like, yeah, I would like to have some children, you know, because I want to, like the homie Luar was saying, he's like, I want to share my legacy with someone, you know, and that's cool, you know. And then my homegirl was like, oh, you're such a primal, like, individual. And it's what's wrong with that, right? It's like we're not too far away from when we were monkeys or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
It's crazy to think about.
So it's like there's so much truth, right? And all these different things. But kind of going back a little bit to Dr. Green, man, like I want to just give him credit for teaching me about the power of love, especially within the institutions of our of education, because you know, at that point I was still very like race critical, and I still am, but I don't like I said, I don't let it consume me with hatred, or very toxic feelings from within. But he was a person that really made me think like, oh, you know what, like I know race matters and shit in many different ways, but I also know race doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, because if a white man, right, whatever, colonizer and shit, was able to teach me about like a real example of love, then, you know, that just forever impacted me in the sense where I no longer really held some weird feeling towards someone because of the way that they look.
Yeah.
And it was a powerful thing, man.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Will, and then last time I checked, Will like was teaching, or like I thought he was stepping away from teaching to work on like a math curriculum with a friend of his, but I don't know, I haven't heard from him in a while.
I'm pretty sure he made it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
But the dude was always like very good with his like discipline.
Yeah,
you know.
He was cool, man.
Fuck
you
yeah.
gotta kick it with him.
I definitely miss that guy.
It was a good time at Laco, man. Like looking back, like it was cool. Like I'm honestly glad that, because I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher when I was in college. You know, I was kind of still searching, and then like I did like a public relations internship my senior year, and I was like, no, I didn't know.
You're like, this is what internships are for.
Yeah.
To know that this is not what I want to do.
Exactly. So like I graduated, and I was like, damn, like what am I gonna do? And like during college, I worked for after school program, and I loved it. You know, I was working with like 4th and 5th graders at the time and middle schoolers, but I loved it. And I just like, for me, it's very easy to connect with like anyone, and because you know, if you're able to like just be yourself, I feel like it's easier to connect. So I feel like I connected with the kids pretty easily, and I enjoyed doing it. So I was like, why don't I just teach? Like I love that, you know. So I started subbing, and then sure enough, found that program. And that program was great.
How did you find it, by the way? Like, how did Laco come to your...
My mom, she's like, my mom's an elementary school teacher.
Okay.
She teaches special ed, and dude, crazy story, to go back to Dr. Green. Dr. Green was actually like, I think like my mom's like supervisor or mentor or something, like where she was getting some type of credential or something through LACO, and he would go to her classroom and check, and like same thing, like she would just talk about like, oh, that man's special, you know. And I was like, dang, like
The world is so intricate yet so tied together.
yeah,
Like small.
On a random note, do you like law of attraction just popped up in my head? Do you believe in law of attraction? Like yeah, right.
It's a fact, bro.
It is, right?
You know, now that you bring that up, bro, I was about 18 when I watched the film. Not the Spirit Molecule. That's about DMT. That's another story. But it was it's just called The Spirit, I think, right? Where it's that documentary that talks about the law of attraction. So here I am, bro. I'm like a straight out of high school, and I'm watching this video, right? This documentary, and I'm just soaking everything, cause it's telling me that I am gonna become who I want to become, as long as two things: I imagine it every day, I visualize it,
Yeah.
and number two, I set up a plan with little goals. I get to this one, then I get to that one, then I get to that one, and then eventually you have exactly what you visualized.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, bro, that's exactly how I ended up playing college ball. And because I wasn't the best in high school, like I was one of the best in high school. That's why I had the confidence to even try it. But like when you get to the next level, like everyone's like a beast.
Yeah.
You know. But the point is that I really visualized it. I was very passionate about it, and I was fueled with intense desires to achieve that. And my first goal was making the team at East LA College, which was a really big thing. I talked about it in the previous episode. I probably won't talk about it that much, right? But the point is that ability to visualize was powerful, bro.
Yeah.
It was powerful. And today I'm visualizing bigger than ever, dog.
Yeah, same here. Actually, I have like a little night routine I do. I'll meditate. Just like I do insight meditation or vipassana, I think they call it.
I wouldn't know what any of that means.
Basically what insight meditation is like, I'm just closing my eyes and I'm just noticing everything that's going on. And I guess they call it insight because you're gaining insight into yourself, into your ego,
Mm-hmm.
your hang-ups, you know, all of that. So like for me, when I'm meditating, I'm just closing my eyes. My full attention is on my breathing. So I have a spot in my nose where my breath is coming in and out naturally. I'm not forcing my breath, and I'm just being aware of it. And then, of course, like thoughts will come and pull me away from my breath. And then eventually I become aware of it. And I'm like, oh, hey, I got lost in that thought. And I bring my attention back to my breath. And I might be uncomfortable in the position I'm sitting in. And like my mind might make some narration about that, might notice that. Or I might you can adjust. You don't have to nope, I'm gonna if it's like crippling pain.
Or you can chill, right?
Yeah, and you don't have to do it cross-legged. You can sit in a chair. You can lay down on your back. But it just gives you insight into yourself, into your hang-ups, and you're able to let things go and connect with yourself. But back to the routine, so I'll meditate, and then I started doing a loving kindness meditation.
What's that?
And it's basically a meditation where you're sending loving kindness to other people. So first you start off with yourself, because if you want to be, for me, I think if you want to be a compassionate individual, you need to be compassionate towards yourself. Like we talked about that negative self-talk. Mm-hmm. You need to be kind and learn to love and be kind to yourself. And then once you're able to do that, then you can really truly be kind and loving to others. And what the loving kindness kind of helps with that, because what I'll do is I'll close my eyes, and then first it's towards yourself. So I'll say I wish may I be free from fear. And this could be fear in here, outside physical harm. May I be physically happy. May I be mentally happy. And may I live with ease. And like there's like deeper meanings behind like each one of those, but I'm wishing that upon myself. And like a key part is like, this is like opening your heart, which seems like a crazy concept, but there's like times when your heart's closed and you know that, like you can feel that your heart's closed, or you feel like your heart's open and you really feel vulnerable and you empathetic and compassionate, willing to listen to someone, to understand, and all those things, right? When you live with the open heart. So like I'm really just trying to open my heart to that and really let those words come in and really truly wish that for myself. And then I go on to other people. So I go on to someone that's close to me and that I love. I envision them, so like their face, right? And then I'm sending those messages to them. And my mind's at a quiet time because I just did it after I meditated, right? And then I choose someone that like maybe like a stranger, someone that might be the cashier at CVS, and I may not know their name, but I'll envision their face and I wish that upon them. And then someone that maybe you're having trouble opening your heart to, right? So it could be someone you had a disagreement with. Maybe you have a neighbor and they complained about something, and ever since then you've kind of been like, that guy's a jerk or whatever. So then I'll send it to someone like that. And what's crazy is like, especially for the people that you have trouble with, when I started doing that consistently, like the next time I see them, I don't feel that little angst or that little anger towards them. Like I've let that go. And so that's just something that I recently started doing. And then after that, I go to visualization, because like I feel like I don't want to just be like fully selfish and like, oh, like this is like all for me. Like I want to like, let me like send some love out for the world. And like my visions are usually something that's like centered around helping people anyway. But then I'll go into my visualizations. So like I'll just share what I've been visualizing lately. So like I also like want to do a podcast. So I started doing a podcast. I recorded my like first episode like last week or something.
Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, you're one of the inspirations for it, because like you sent me that text, bro, that you got the book done. I was like, hell yeah. I was like this one's really doing it. You know, I was like, I love that. Like that, like, I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Like it gets me pumped up when people are chasing after their passions. And then like of course your podcast, I've been keeping up with that on YouTube. So I was like that's awesome. And I used to do a sports podcast with some friends. But you know, when you have 3 hosts, like it's kind of hard to always link up and do that. So it kind of fell out, and but it's been something still on my heart, something I wanted to do. So I was like, so that's something I envision is like the podcast. Something else like bringing mindfulness to my school district on like a heavier scale, like a more impactful scale. And then something else I envision is like I want to do like donate, like Dharma, the yoga instructor. She does donation based yoga, and I was like, how cool would it be to have donation-based training for teachers and students? So you know how we have our trainings that our schools pay for or whatever. Some school districts might have less money, or the principal for whatever reason might not want to invest money in this or that. So like, what if you have this donation-based training that you can offer to schools, where like, hey, this might be a recommended donation, but if you can't donate this, donate whatever you want. And then your school can have that. So like if a school can't afford to get this training in mindfulness, or train these teachers in mindfulness or meditation, then at least now that it's donation based, that school does have that available to them, you know? And like, it's not getting me rich or anything like that, but I think it's important if we really want to change our society and our cultures, we got to make this stuff available to everyone. So that's one of my other visions. And then like on a selfish vision, like just like a dope house with a chicken coop, some dogs, you know?
Yeah.
But
I don't, talking to Eamon Ra, he made it clear that, wanting more resources for yourself, which you're going to share with the village anyways, it's not really selfish. Like we said, man, we live in a capitalistic society. America doesn't give a fuck about the individual. America respects corporations and corporations only, right? So if it means acquiring some resources, then acquire them.
Yeah.
I truly believe that life has prepared us in this manner for a reason. So that whenever that moment does come and someone gives us some power or some resources, then we're gonna utilize them with the truest intent.
Yeah.
Right? And all your visualizations were about connecting them to human beings, right? Like the one that was really cool that I want to try is thinking about your relationships to people, especially the ones that are hurt.
Yeah.
Because I have some relationships where I operated out of ego, and I pretty much cut ties. But I think about these people sometimes, and I would love to sit down with them one day, just on some cool, smooth shit. You know, like, hey, this is why I did what I did. You can feel however you want to feel moving forward, but I know how I feel today, and I just want to say that, you know, I'm willing to squash whatever beef, you know, and move forward.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a really interesting one, man. Like really, really interesting. One of the shamans from one of my men's circles, he suggested something similar to that in a different way. So
Shaman, he's a plant teacher?
Well, he's not a teacher.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what he does, but a shaman.
Yeah, you're good.
They do what they do. He said,
I'm just super interested in that, so that's why.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you can see, like, I think his teachings come from, like, you know, native indigenous Cubans.
Wow.
So that's, like, really intriguing, you know. Well, he gave us, like, a spell that could help for maybe certain relationships that have failed you, or vice versa, or are hurtful towards you. Because the story was, one of the men who was sharing that his boss was a fucking dick, and he was like, every time I see them, I'm filled with pain and anger and frustration, and it's like, damn, that kind of sucks. So he said, all right, so write down their name in a piece of paper and write down everything that made you feel, and make it into a small little square and stick it in the freezer, all the way in the back. And I think, you know, the symbolism behind that is that, you know, you're freezing all that negativity, right? And you're locking it away. So, you know, like, I do believe in these things, you know, I do believe in these energies, and if possible, you know, like, I don't really want to beef with anybody.
Yeah,
but like, you know, something I haven't practiced in a while is Jiu Jitsu. Obviously, coronavirus, but I got a surgery, bro, last November, not even this November. Obviously, you know, I would be in a sling right now if it was this November.
That's but crazy. I didn't even know you did Jiu Jitsu.
Well, I was doing it for a couple months, bro, and I you see, after college football, I kind of left the world of athleticism.
But you wanted that competition, huh?
I did. Like, my heart and my soul still craved to win. So I obviously I was also inspired by Joe Rogan, you know, he's a black belt and all that. So I was curious, and I searched up the most place closest to me. It's a place in Paramount called Connect, and I showed up one day, you know. And I tell the guy, I'm like, hey, I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, but I want to try it out. And, you know, he loaned me, like, this big-ass, shitty-ass gi. I put it on, and, you know, they went through a couple things, and it was one of the most humbling experiences for me. Because I'm a good athlete. I still am. Like, I play flag football and everything, and, like, I be dominating my shit still. But again, within the context of jiu-jitsu is, like, I say it's the chess of martial arts, because it's so technical, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking about layers.
Gotta be thinking steps ahead.
Oh, many steps ahead. And there's a lot of counterattacks to everything. And so when you're a white belt, you literally don't know nothing, right? It's like your first game of chess.
Yeah.
You get fucking creamed by everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like I show up, bro, and I'm just getting humbled by everybody. The girls are kicking my ass, you know? And so after a month, I'm starting to pick shit up, and then I dislocate my shoulder, bro.
During it?
Yeah. So what happened was that it was a Friday practice with no gi, and it's a couple less people, and I'm going at it with the instructor. He's a black belt, and, you know, the point is that my shoulder was already messed up from all my years of wear and tear through football, but I didn't know the state of it because it never dislocated. But apparently it was already, like, my labrum was 75% torn.
Oof.
Yeah. So it didn't take for much to dislocate. Anyways, it dislocates. I go to the ER. They put it back in, and within a month, I go back to jiu-jitsu. And at this point, I'm sparring with this guy. He's got a really strong ego, whatever. I don't want to lose. And I fall on my back, bro, and it comes out again. Oof. It comes out again. And at that point, like, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm stopping. And then nobody knows. So the instructor's like, hey, man, in a fight, are you ever just going to, you can't just back up and say, no. You know, you go until it's done. And I was just like, no, you don't understand. You know, like, my body's fucking hurting. So that's when I was like, you know what, bro? I love jiu-jitsu, so if I ever plan to do it again, I know I'm gonna need the surgery. So I go, man, and I'm very grateful, very blessed. I have great, you know, health care. Basically, it got covered. Everything got covered. My surgery. My doctor is at Cedar Sinai. Dude, he's the U.S. ski team's doctor for orthopedic surgeries. I got that, bro, and I went through my process, bro. I I took my physical therapy very seriously, and now, bro, I'm 7 weeks into a pretty rigorous workout designed by Jeff Cavalier, and I feel great, bro.
It's like tailored to rehab your shoulder, or
no? My rehab's done.
Okay, so you're completely done. Now it's just
I gotta work out.
What kind of, is it like lifting, body weights?
Well, I don't have any weights at home.
And no gyms are open.
Yeah, so I literally got like some 10s and 15s as dumbbells. And you know, when it's squatting time, I'd squat that. You know, which is nothing but
just squatting your body weight, bro.
It works.
Yeah.
Which again, it goes back to yoga, right? It's like you can be pretty fit just doing yoga.
Yeah.
So now, you know, kind of going back to that, right? It's like I'm recovering. I'm recovering from that surgery, all that's gone. Now I'm back to like working out legit. Like I work out probably like 6 days a week, you know, 7 days when we have games on Sundays and shit. So it's kind of like, this is a lifestyle, bro, that is meant for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I just, don't get me wrong, I have my moments where I don't want to do shit, I don't, you know, like that. But in general, I'm moved so much by action. Like, keeping my body going keeps everything else sane.
It's so important, dude. Like,
it really is.
Fitness, like, I could relate to you 100% with that. I mean, not with the shoulder, but, like, just playing sports. Like, I played, my mom didn't let me play tackle. So, like, middle school, elementary, I was really big on baseball. Played flag football up till 8th grade. And then in high school, I hopped on water polo. Played that all 4 years, and it came naturally to me, and I was like stud at it. Played at Cerritos College, but that's a whole different ball game. You know, like,
it must have been ruthless, huh?
Then you're like, I didn't get much PT, you know, but you're also playing with people, like, so water polo is a weird sport because, like, it's not common, like, there's not pools everywhere and water polo teams everywhere. So, like, I picked it up in 9th grade. Meanwhile, like, a kid like maybe in OC or somewhere where it's more popular might have picked it up at like 6th grade or 5th grade. So then when you get to college, you have these people that have been playing a long time. We had a kid on our team that was from Spain, and he was a beast. But once, like, I was done playing water polo, like, I craved that still, that competition. So I like played pickup basketball. That's like something I enjoy doing. But exercise, like you said, like, mentally, it's like a form of meditation too, exercise, you know. Like, I've been nonstop exercising, like lifting weights or doing CrossFit or whatever it may be since like sophomore year, and that's something like I wish everyone had in some type of exercise. I feel like you just gotta find what you like or what you enjoy doing.
It's like reading a book.
Exactly.
Like, the problem with reading books is that school throws you all these novels that you're like, I don't want to read it. Yep. So you think it's bad. Same thing, PE, whatever, everyone's like, fuck working out. But I strongly believe everyone needs to work out.
Yeah.
Just gotta find your shit, right? Like,
could be swimming, could be biking.
Exactly. Whatever it is, but you trust me when I say that shit. It's like human beings are supposed to be physical. We're supposed to be moving the motors.
Yeah.
And it's no surprise that there's so much anger and anxiety and depression in the world because everyone's a fucking couch potato.
Yeah, or sitting at a desk. have all this pent up energy, and it comes out in some way.
Exactly.
Health is wealth. Health really is
wealth. That's the real wealth, bro.
It is.
It really is, man. And I'm barely kind of really like, I mean, I was pretty healthy, you know, in high school because of the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much after my senior year, I didn't work out again really hard until my senior year in college, because that was like my senior year to play ball and everything. So I took it seriously, and I was pretty fit. Probably gained like the most weight at that point. But literally after that, like it all went down, like super down the drain. Cause in 2014 I got my shoulder surgery on my left one.
Dang.
So I've gotten 2 shoulder surgeries. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that I'm kind of back to feeling like normal, it just reminds me again, like, have faith.
Yeah.
Have faith in the doctors. They know what they're doing. But more importantly, have faith in yourself, and take your physical therapies very, very seriously. But just kind of taking it back to jiu-jitsu just for a little bit.
Yeah.
I can't wait, bro. I
can't wait to get back.
I can't wait to go back. Because I wasn't tied back to, like, self-defense. And kind of like owning yourself, in the sense where you know you can probably break someone's arm or choke somebody out, but you know that you're not going to do it unless that situation arises and it must be done. But one of my goals, bro, is to eventually become a black belt.
That's an awesome
in
goal.
jiu-jitsu. But it's going to be a long time. So again, I'm not living in the future.
Getting lost in the process.
Exactly. Because again, like, we are the type of men that we do fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
This is fun for me.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is gonna be 10 years from now, and I don't care. All I care is about that we're having a great conversation, and that's all that matters. Same deal when I was doing jiu-jitsu. I love that moment when I'm fucking gassed the fuck out. The guy I'm rolling with is gassed the fuck out, and we're still going at it. And this is the last point I'll make about jiu-jitsu, is that it works with your ego as well. There's always gonna be a brilliant athlete everywhere that has a fucking crazy ass ego, and they're gonna fucking kill everybody. But martial arts in general, I think, not only were there for self-defense, but again, like yoga, it really challenges you internally to calm yourself.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu, the more jittery you are, the more you throw out your energy right away, you're gonna get submitted, bro. And a submission literally will either put you to sleep
or break something
if you don't tap.
Yeah.
So that is really like a very instinctual fight or flight type situation, which is what really forces you to give it your best. Now, of course, it's a friendly competition.
Yeah.
You get choked out, you just say, hey, let me go. And someone who's respectful will let you go. But what happens when you apply that to life in a metaphorical sense? When life is choking the fuck out of you, are you gonna let it kill you? Is that moment gonna destroy you? Maybe. But I'm gonna give it my best.
And also, like, to tie to your book, like, knowing when to take the L. Like, you have to know when to take the L in jiu-jitsu.
Oh yes.
Right?
Yes. And one of the early lessons, bro. So, you know, I'm not really, like, obviously a super strong guy, but I'm strong for my body type and my weight. So I'm going at it with this dude, and I'm kind of learning a little bit. And in jiu-jitsu, you kind of you sweep people, right? If I'm on the bottom of you, I want to sweep you and put you on the bottom, right? Or vice versa, depends. So in this situation, I'm on top of the guy, and I'm just like holding his belt, because in jiu-jitsu you can grab whatever you want, right? That's what it's for. And he can't push me, so he like goes for my neck, just from that position, right? And he starts choking me, bro. Like literally a choke, because it crosses like this, right? And I'm there and I'm just choking now, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm choking. Like, I can't keep going. So I tap, right? But the point is that it was very, 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 I was very, very close to like being put to sleep because I didn't know that feeling of having to tap, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, it teaches you that you must learn when to take the L. Nowadays, man, as soon as I'm being put in the most uncomfortable situation, it's like, hey, man, you got me.
Have you been put to sleep?
No, but dude, there was some knuckleheads there for sure that were Mr. Tough Guy.
That's why I hear you gotta just be careful in that having the right partners to work with, because like some are like working with that ego and don't have that perspective of jiu-jitsu that you have.
But
you learn it.
Most higher belts that they just experience, but there's some higher belts that are just they know they're the shit and they're still bullies.
Okay.
They're still bullies.
Yeah.
But now as the people we are today, we can de-escalate that ego within them by being playful, by being nice,
have a conversation,
by being like, hey G, don't fucking break my arm,
Yeah.
And they might be like, all right, I'm still gonna fuck you up, but I'm not gonna fuck you up to the worst extremity possible. So yeah, man. I mean, it's there's just so many methods out there. Again, tying it back to, because I feel like that's really one of the biggest themes right of today is just kind of like that inner self.
Yeah, there's a ton of methods, dude. Like even how you're saying, like I brought up love and kindness, and then you brought up your shaman friend who had a different method, and like you see that with religions as well. Like there's all these different methods, and like it's not about like this method is good, that method's bad. It's what's right for you at the end of the day. And like just exploring some different methods, and like those methods go with everything, like meditation, sports, exercise,
Yeah, super facts, brother. If there was like one last final message that you would like to share with the audience today, what would it be?
I guess I'll probably like talk about. I'll tell them to listen to a song, like especially with everything that's going on right now in the world. I'll tell them to listen to a song by J. Cole. It's called High for Hours. And in that song, like basically what he points to is that the real revolution happens inside of you. So like, we always want to point fingers and like look outside of ourselves like to fix issues, but if we truly want to change the world, like it sounds cheesy, but we need to change ourselves and work on ourselves. If we want more compassion in the world, then let's cultivate that compassion in us. If we want more kindness, same thing. So just do that inner work, and like great things will happen. And yeah, man. And check out my podcast will drop in a couple weeks, the Dodd Pod.
The
DOD. So my last name's Dodson. Yeah. So the Dodd Pod. Yeah.
Where is it gonna be on iTunes or
yeah, I'm
Spotify?
gonna put it on iTunes and Spotify.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I can't wait, bro, to support you in that journey. Tune in. And
you're gonna be on it too, bro.
Thank you,
Essential.
man. Thank you so much for that invitation into what's something that is gonna be powerful, and it's gonna be powerful just because you are who you are, and as long as you do what you want and you're in your path, like that's real energy, real power. Thank you. There you go for coming through, and just having a great conversation, man. As always, guys, comment, like, subscribe, and I appreciate you guys. Peace. Deuces.